Hey there everyone, Luke here, and yeah, got not much to say about the goings on this week. Other than I've had the week off, I'm enjoying it so far, getting all relaxing from work and everything, freshen up. But now let's just dive right into the chapter. So this is chapter 236, titled Bone Crisis Part 5, and again, have no idea how long this arc is going to go on for, although given the fact that we're still on Part 5 and hardly any of the action has started yet, I feel like this arc might actually be longer than Day of Disaster, which was a fairly long arc in of itself. I could see this arc taking us up until like June, July, or August time, so that'll be like part 25, part 26, something like that. But anyway, we start off the chapter where, from pretty much the ending of the last one, where we have Momo going back to Nemu's group after using her teleport ability, and she says, "I'm so sorry, I know I'm just being a bother. I had to come here, so here I am." As Mirio says, "Why do you sound like a girl mustering the courage to walk into her boyfriend's room?" Like, seriously? That's the thing he's concerned about? The fact that, hey, we've got one of our allies back, they've succeeded in their mission, and that's the concern he's worried about. But I digress. Nemu asks, like, "Oh, where is Khan?" And Momo says, "Oh, he's coming up another way. It's so nice to see you. I'm glad you're all okay." But as she says this, we have Mirio and Nemu being like, a little bit like, well, I don't know. Yeah, we might all be okay, except for one teeny tiny little thing, and that is Ban has passed out drunk. Like, seriously, Ban? Like, I know you like a drink and everything, but seriously, this was the time to actually do it on the important mission to literally save the world. And she still has the nerve to go and get herself drunk, so that she's. But I don't get the feeling that half the time in this series they just nerve Ban for no particular reason, other than the fact that, well, if she was always sober the whole time, she'd be the arcs would be seriously shorter than necessary. So I guess this is kind of their way to be like, okay, we've got this really super badass character, let's nerve them somehow. Let's make them drunk so they pass out, so that they can't even do the missions. And Momo even brings up, like, she was drinking, but Momo brings up, like, well, just said, like, we're in the middle of a crisis, and yet she still has the nerve to go on drinking. As Mirio says, "Oh, she bought what she calls the Dragon Clan special secret extra stored booze. You know what? She bought booze. That's all we need to know." And Nemu says, like, it's a drink that that basically knocks out anyone. It's basically the Pan-Galactic Gargle Blaster from Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy, something similar like that. So Mirio says, using alcohol as an imitation courage, right, before something like this, it's such a dumb old drunken thing to do. Yeah, exactly. Like, I feel like I get the idea that Ban was just like, "Oh, I'm gonna boost my confidence, gonna get drunk," and then passes out. So continuing on, Mirio says, like, "Oh, okay, Momo, but do you have your bone fragment? Did your mission go with success?" And Momo confirms as she brings the one that Maverick had, and they're even surprised that they stole it that quickly. Yeah. I'm surprised too. I didn't think it would be as easy as it was, which again, the fact that they're saying, like, "Oh, so quickly," again, and the fact that this arc is called Bone Crisis gives me reason to believe that, yes, something is gonna, that they're building themselves up right now to succeed, and then it's all gonna come crashing down. But she explains that Khan put himself through the ringer to get it all here, and he almost threw up a bunch of times before they question, like, why did he have to go and do that? But I digress. They've successfully dissolved two of the bone fragments, the one that they got from Kikuyu and the one that they got from Maverick. So two down, five to go. As Momo says, like, "Oh, have you got your target? Where's your Warlock?" Miro confirms, like, "Oh yeah, she's in the arcade. She's playing away, but we don't have a plan yet." yeah, given the fact that she is more aware at this, she's probably like more aware of her surroundings. I assume that, yeah, this is going to be a little bit more trickier than the one that went on with Maverick. So Nemu says she's just playing arcade games, drinking booze and snacking on junk. But yeah, and Momo again like puts on the idea like, oh, sounds like she would get well along with Ban, and hey, that's not a bad idea. Like, they could send Ban in there to, like, be the decoy to distract it so that they have a chance to get the bone. But, hey, who knows, like, if Ban is even going to wake up at this point. Kikuya goes on and says Maverick invited Kikiryu for drinks once, but she turned him down and she can't touch the stuff. From what we heard, she can't drink. She must be having something like water or soda. But again, I digress. Ban could so easily go in there and like be a distraction for Kikiryu and and at least give it an idea of what is actually going to go on. And even Miyu says that this might actually work. Like, not the idea of sending Ban in, but the idea of like, oh wait, because she can't drink alcohol, she can only drink water and soda, and she can't actually drink. That might give us a distinct advantage. Where he asks Momo like, oh, can you teleport two things simultaneously, and like swap two things around at once? And Momo confirms that yes, she can actually do that. So this is what Miryu's plan is. Like, if they can swap the contents of the Warlock's cups for Ban's booze, if she can't drink, then after one swig of something with the punch that Ban's actually bought, she might actually be able to pass out. And yeah, that is something that is actually a pretty good plan, pretty good solid plan that they've got going on there. But whether or not it's going to work or not, that just remains to be seen. So anyway, they'll be able to get the bone hopefully with this plan as Team Nemo begins Operation Yashiryu. Before we cut back to Khan and his plight with the woman we met in the last chapter, and we find out actually what a whole deal is in this chapter, and it puts to bed my theory of like, okay, Dory, I mean, he might actually be a primal warlock, but for now, no. They confirm like what he actually is in this chapter. So so Khan says, "Oh, who are you? Like, what do you need help with? What's a plan? What's a plain old person like you doing up here?" And he says, like, are you aware of what's going on the ship? And she confirms that she has a pretty good idea before Keigo starts to call Khan, and it says, "Oh, we're out in the Aurelia hole. Sorry we can't respond. Sorry we couldn't respond before." So they've gone away from Dory. At least that's something. They've managed to get away from Dory and slip him. And they continue on by saying like, well, I've got you. I might as well give you an update. We bumped into Dory in the restaurant. He didn't spot us. We had slump. So they're basically relaying what they did to actually escape Dory. And as they mentioned that Slump had disguised himself as Maverick to distract him, we see Khan getting a really bit pissy at Keigo of being like, so you guys stood right in the middle, right in front of the enemy. What if he had busted you and you wound up having to fight? And Keigo responds like, if the guy asked for it, we would have given it to him. So before Khan interrupts him and gets like, bro, the operation doesn't need that kind of energy, so quit, like, just be stealthy, get the bone, get out of there. And he's like, I know, but thanks to that little stunt, they were able to find out where his bone is, as Dory confirmed to them that he didn't have it on him. It wouldn't have fitted in his pocket, so he's had his magic hold onto it. And this is where Khan starts to like get the wheels turning in his head of like, he's met this woman, doesn't know who she is. She knows about the mission. Dory's mentioned his manager, so it's kind of like give Khan credit. Like, he's smart enough to figure out like, okay, they've just talked about this his manager. This woman's appeared out of nowhere. Don't have any idea. She's all alone. Yet, despite this being a private ship, so yeah, he's getting this idea as he goes on and says, "Gotcha. Well, here's the report for me. The masked dude Maverick. We've got his bone. We haven't got Agros yet. He's the horn dude. Before they go on and say Maverick's easy spot with what we've how he wears that mask and talks like a loud American. So yeah, Keiko is aware of this, that something's being off. It would, as Charlie says, oh, would have been nice if we had heard this earlier, before they cut off all the transmission, and Carl shifts his attention to this mysterious woman who confirms without a shadow of doubt that yes, this is Dory's manager, or at least what she used to be. So the manager goes on and says that, oh, I used to be Dory's manager, but now I'm more like his slave. At first, I was just another viewer doing what I could to support him, but at this point, he's essentially controlling my entire life. And what we get into is like some really like, oh my god, I can't believe Witch Watch has actually gone it. I thought the part at the end of part 1 with Shikimi shooting Morihito was like, holy crap, I can't believe they went here. But no, this is quite like serious stuff that we're actually getting into here, as Colin says, like, what the hell, like, if he's doing all of this, if he's treating you like a slave and everything, why don't you just leave? Why don't you just run away before the wait? Because like her bands are covering like one of her eyes, and we all know when that happens, like something is going to be behind the eye. And sure enough, there's like this huge scar, like this really like crazy scar that's covering her eyes, as she goes on to explain that she was a shut-in, and she couldn't bring herself to go into the office for work, and she just sat at home scrolling through internet videos and felt herself growing more and more useless by the day. But that's when she found Dory, like she found his videos online. So it's kind of similar to what happened in My Hero Academia with La Bravo and Gentle, how La Bravo was like the shut-in who found Gentle's videos online. He didn't have many subscribers yet, and his editing was still pretty basic. His dancing, though, it was incredibly amazing. He was the very best that she had actually seen. Watching his videos made her feel like she could change the world. Like, she became infatuated by Dory's videos, and before she knew it, she was in tears. So she DM'd him. I told him that she wanted to be useful to him, and by some miracle, he actually hired her, and she was her only employee. They worked together as a team, setting out sites higher and higher, and she even surprised herself. So the way that she became from a shut-in to meeting Dory, and she thought like, oh my god, this is the end of all of my troubles. But now that Dory has become like this raging monster in her eyes, like, can she even get away from him at this point? So she goes on and says, like, because of their amped for editing videos, their subscribers skyrocketed. And then when it came to the jump to show business, she worked herself to the bone as his official manager and wanted everyone to know just how much talent he had. But for Dory, the pressure was too much for him. The stress of being a star and the critiques of his fans were overwhelming. It ate at his mental health. So yeah, this is quite depressing for a Witch Watch chapter. The fact that Dory was such a low level, was such a nobody online, and then his manager comes in, gives him a pet boost, gives them both a pet boost, and then it just becomes so overwhelming for him, because I imagine like Dory probably at times didn't mind the fact that he was kind of an unknown and he could do his own thing, but now that it's like show business, he has to do all of this and that and everything, and it's just becoming so overwhelming. And like, he probably didn't have that many because he didn't have that many subscribers, probably didn't have that many critics. So like, when he got a level of subscribers and they were like, yeah, your videos aren't as good, like do this that way, I don't like this, like that probably just like really hurt him from having so many positives from when he was an unknown. And yeah, it did eat away at his mental health, and he didn't know, and she didn't know when it was, but he started hanging out with a man in a black coat like Shikimiya. Like, obviously that's the man in the black coat, and that's where his attitudes towards her changed, and this way he became this raging monster as he because this goes back to my original theory that Dory was probably the first one that they actually told, like, okay, this is what Juru's actual name is, and this probably woken like the inner warlock inside of him. Now, whether or not he's still a primal warlock from what I've said, or he's just going to be like the regular mutator warlock. So we finally get Dory's confirmation. He's the mutator warlock. His ability is that he can mutate any parts of his body into whatever shape he wants. So they don't know if he's always had this power, if Shikimiya drew it out of him. Probably Shikimiya drew it out of it. He probably had a combination of he always had this power and Shikimiya was the one that brought it to the forefront. But after that, everything changed. She stopped being his manager and became his slave. He kept her only to serve serve him. So she just does whatever she wants. That, like, he's got her on a chain, and she probably doesn't want to do all of this, but she has no choice now that Dory has this level of power. As long as he orders it, she'll do anything. Before Khan says, like, that's crap, that's awful, you should not have to do this, you should have your own free will, you don't have to listen to him. And yeah, she kind of feels like imprisoned at this point, because without Dory, who else has she got at this point? That's kind of the mindset that she's going off here. Like, she knows she can't, and she can't run away. He'd never let her escape her spy, and she couldn't abandon him, like, because they literally only have each other. Like, that's kind of like how seriously messed up this is. Like, they've brought they originally brought the good out of each other, and now that Dory has actually changed, she can't even go out of that, because, like, she's gonna probably go back to being a shut-in, being so antisocial that she can't even leave her room. Like, that's kind of like the dilemma that she's in here, which is, like, really seriously messed up. So the manager continues on and says that all she wants at this point, kind of the same thing with Kukuryu, that all she wants is that she just wants things to go back to how they used to be, but she doesn't know what she can actually do, if there's even a way for it to actually go back. As Khan says, like, oh, there is. I've got friends that can help change him back. We can help you, but what we need to do, really importantly, is, like, stop this war between the witches and warlocks from escalating even further than it actually is. So if you could give me his bone, do that, and you can count on me to be actually in your corner to protect you at this point. So as the manager goes to get the bone, we see Dory actually returning, and yeah, Dory at the door there is kind of like a bit like, oh my god, he is absolutely terrifying. He was absolutely terrifying. Like, he's not even saying anything. Just, like, his appearance, like, you just feel the awe of, like, oh my god, something bad is gonna go down really, really crazily here. As he goes on and says, so there are mice about. I figured something was up. Maverick talks like a loud American, and yet you see, like, the manager just being like, oh my god, I screwed up. I'm gonna get such a slap right now. I'm like, I really want to don't be in this situation. Before Dory says, what's this? Was someone nice to you? That's good. I'm glad for you. It's been ages since I've seen your face look like that, human. Like, okay, yeah, the fact that Dory says that human, like, yeah, Dory. Again, if Dory had been such a central character in part 2, this would have been so impactful, so shocking, but would have made so much sense, and would have been such an awesome twist. I would have just made, oh my god, the guy that we thought was an ally is actually not a straight up villain at this point. Like, Dory just saying that and what he's done and, like, how he's become, yeah, he's just a straight up villain at this point. And to prove this, he ends up slapping the manager, which, again, like, this just, like, enrages Khan. Like, I don't blame Khan for being like this. The fact that he's just seen someone who's just poured her heart out, explained her backstory, explained her relationship with Dory, and how she wants this to change. It's like, oh my god, like, seriously. And to just have him come back and do that, like, oh my god, seriously. And Dory turns to Khan, it's like, what, gonna do something? As Khan declares, yeah, let's go, and that's where the chapter ends. So yeah, Khan versus Dory. I didn't think that this was the fight we were gonna get, but here we are. Now, the thing is, I feel like Keigo and Chomi are gonna find out about this. They're gonna find out that Khan has gone off to face Dory. They know what Dory is like in his mutated warlock form. So they're probably gonna be like, right, we've got to go and find Khan. We've got to go and assist him in this fight whatsoever. ASAP, before something truly awful happens. And Dory's probably going to protect that bone fragment with his life right now. Possibly even threaten his manager's life for them to actually surrender to him. So yeah, this might be the case where it's like, yeah, they've started off really good, and now it's going to go downhill. Now, if there's one person that I feel like can save Dory at this point, it's Charmy, given their relationship. Like, we with this fight happening with Dory, we have to include Charmy in some way. We can't just have her on the back burner, because that would be like such a disappointment, such a missed opportunity for character development on her part and on Dory's part, to get him like, okay, he was cool at first, now he's irredeemable as a villain, and try to get him back to being redeemed. Now, in terms of how the fight's going to go down, I believe Dory's gonna just be like gonna just whoop Khan's. Like, Khan's gonna put up a fight, but I feel like Dory is just gonna get the upper hand before Keigo and Charmy actually have to come in and assist him. But that's something we'll have to wait and see. So overall, really good chapter, good solid chapter. We finally got to find out that this was Story's manager. Finally got to find out that she kind of doesn't want to do this, but she's kind of like shackled to being in this situation. And we finally found out what Dory is, what he's all about, how he became what he became, and where we go from in this arc and leading into this fight of Khan versus Dory. Who knows what's going to happen, but like I said, Charmy and Keigo have to be there, because they were settled like, okay, we're the ones that were meant to get Charmy's bone fragment, not Charmy. We were the ones who were meant to get Dory's bone fragment, so we're gonna have to pull out the stops as well and assist Khan in this fight. But anyway, guys, what did you think of this chapter? Let me know. Like, subscribe, comment, all that jazz. And this will be Lasherluke signing off. Later, guys.